Good morning, YouTube, and happy Monday. So it is, let's see, 7:24 in the morning, and this is my second attempt to do a video. So what I managed to do, I thought I was recording. I was not, so I did this beautiful video for y'all, and then when I thought I was turning it off, I was actually turning it on, and it was just a series of coughing and nose blowing. So, needless to say, that one went in the trash, and we're going to try this again. So, this morning, I am actually working on a custom order for 50 bars, yes, 50 bars, of my homemade goat's milk soap made with essential oils. So I thought I would bring you along and do kind of a soaping 101 video for you. What I do want to share with you is the purpose of my channel is not to promote my little soap business, bath and body product business. It's called Sweet Honey Bath and Body. It's on Facebook. I do a lot of direct selling, but being a one-woman show and trying to do a lot of homesteading, I'm not like a retail store. So sometimes I have products, sometimes I do not. I do have some businesses that I make soap for, so supplies are limited. If I can help you with soap, you want to purchase something, please reach out to me, comment below, send me your email address if you know me personally, messenger me, whatever, and I'll certainly be glad to let you know what I have in stock. So, a couple things, housekeeping before we get started. I know I promised you all a video on my homestead management binder. I did make the video. Oh, I swear, I'm challenged sometimes. It was terrible. I wasn't feeling well the day I did it, and it really showed. And I'm not willing to post something that isn't going to be beneficial, that's poor videography, whatever. So I will redo that video for you in the upcoming days. I have sort of a busy week this week, but I'm going to really try to get caught up and a little bit ahead on my videos. So that's number one. Number two, recipes for the different products that we will make as we go along. Some of them are what I consider to be proprietary, which means I developed them. It's kind of my signature soap and other products, and I am not going to share that specific recipe with you. That said, I want to share that if you go to soapqueen.com or brambleberry.com, there are hundreds of recipes that you can utilize for soap and other bath and body products. And that's actually how I really expanded and started to hone and refine my soap making, was learning about the different oils and their properties. So stay tuned. I'm going to flip you around. I'm going to show you my terribly messy kitchen, but I just want to give you some basics about equipment that you will need at minimum to make soap, and just a basic idea of how to create your own soap free of chemicals, free of harsh detergents. So stay tuned. Well, this certainly looks like quite a bit of stuff to make a batch of soap, and it may seem far easier to you to just run to the store and pick up a box or a bar of your favorite soap. I can tell you personally, having skin psoriasis, my son actually has a similar condition, that using my own homemade soap has made all of the difference in the world in the health of my skin. So, what do you need? Well, let's talk a little bit about what soap really is. Soap is a combination of what we call lye and oils. And the process of saponification, or making soap, is combining lye with oils to produce soap. I'm sure you've all seen ads on Facebook You've probably, even if you're shopping at like a festival or a bazaar, people say, oh, my soap is lye-free. Well, by definition, soap is made by combining lye and oils. So what many of those products are is what's called melt and pour soap. So it's previously combined lye and oils made into a bar that they then remelt, perhaps add fragrance, color, la la la. So it still has lye in it. Lye's chemical name is sodium hydroxide. The whole point of saponification is using the proper amount of lye to the proper amount of oils so that all of the lye is then used up and of course won't harm your skin. And then as you get into a little more sophisticated soap making, you use more oils than lye, so you super fat your soap. And that is what the majority of my soaps are. Even though they're super fatted, they still work very well for people who have oily skin problems. So, little lesson on soap making. I'm going to pause you for a moment, get geared up, talk a little bit about safety, and then show you how I make the lye solution for goat's milk soap. So hang tight. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about safety. No, my glasses are not a fashion statement. It's a very important part of soap making is to protect your eyes, protect your hands. I've been soaping for a long time. I've been very blessed never to have a lye burn, but it is a very basic substance. And if you get it on your skin, splash it in your eye, it can cause some serious consequences. So what I do when I make any type of milk-based soap is, this is a bag of frozen goat's milk in cubes. You cannot use milk or milk products with lye because when you add the lye, it raises the temperature extremely high. So it will simply curdle your milk. So you have to start out with a bowl of frozen goat's milk. Now, I do have separate containers. Dollar store, Goodwill is where I've gotten everything. I just don't want to take a chance on getting product into my food. So I have accumulated it. Can you use your food containers for soap? I don't recommend it, especially if it's plastic, because you just don't know what is leaching into the plastic and then back out into your food. So this is, and I am not affiliated, not receiving any compensation, purchased with my own money. This is sodium hydroxide, or lye, from the Lye Guy. You'll see I keep the lid taped shut. I keep this in a cupboard in a room behind a gate because I do have a cat. Now, he's never bothered any of this, but if you have small children or curious animals, you want to be really, really careful, not only for yourself, but for your animals and children whenever you use lye. I don't want you to be afraid, but I do want you to have a healthy, shall we say, fear and respect. So what I've done is I've measured my goat's milk, and I have a digital scale here. It's a little sad looking. I've had this for a number of years. It is still available on Amazon. It is called My Way. It's $50. I've totally given up on my Amazon influencer link for right now because I've just had more problems than I'm willing to deal with. So we'll get back to that Amazon thing at another time. So what you need to do then is add your lye to your goat's milk. And you may be sitting there thinking, well, okay, the goat's milk's frozen. How is that gonna turn into a liquid that you can soap with? Well, believe it or not, as you start to stir, that lye creates a chemical reaction. You don't want to be right over it breathing it. Although I still can't really smell very well, so I wouldn't notice the fumes. It will, over the next 20-30 minutes, become a liquid. One of the things I like to add is a salt solution. And even though you're supposed to measure everything in soap. I have made this so many times. I don't need a measuring spoon. Teaspoon of the salt solution per pound of oil. And this is a 3-pound batch. So once you get a little bit of liquid in there, and I'll show you here in just a moment. You can see it's already starting to melt. So many times what I do is I'll stick this up in the cabinet if I'm not going to be right here beside everything, so that I don't have to worry about hanky-panky Frankie getting into things. So I'll just put it right up here in the cabinet. But since we're videoing today, I'm not going to so much worry about that. So we'll set that aside. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to add some oils. So technically I can take the glasses and such off because I'm not working with the lye anymore. But I do like to wear the gloves. If you notice, I have my hair up. You know, I live in fear of a hair falling into my soap. Not that that would bother me, but I certainly don't want to sell the soap when it has a hair in it. So, pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. Yeah. Oh my word, y'all. Sorry about that. So, back to our discussion. Real life, man, you sneeze sometimes, right? And by the way, thank you all for your concern with my surgery. Having systemic lupus, I do take an immunosuppressant medication. So sometimes simple little surgeries turn out to be something a little bit more than what you thought they were going to be. And that was certainly the case here. I'm definitely on the mend. I certainly feel much, much better. I worked outside all day yesterday. So, yeah, I think I'm going to live. So that's a good thing. But not by any means done with all the dental work. So 2 more surgeries to go. But I digress. But thank you anyway. So this is the sacred book. This contains, not very organized, all of my soap recipes and all of my Bath and Body product recipes. I took the time to put every single one of those into my computer, on the hard drive. Bad me. Did I back it up? No. Was it on the iCloud drive? No. Had massive hard drive failure. Lost everything. Thankfully, I'd saved the book. So at this point, I have not re-entered all. And there's probably at least 100 recipes in here. I increased my iCloud storage space so that they would always be available, but I still haven't done it yet, so we'll get to that. But back to measuring out our oils. So whatever container you're going to use, sometimes I do this like directly into a big pot and do it on the stove. Because I have so many batches of this to make, I'm going to use my microwave today. So you will get really good at knowing how much is how many ounces, but I highly recommend a scale. There are recipes that go by cups. They do work. I've used them. But if you really want to refine your recipe and you want it to be the same every time. So, oops, I need like a dibble here. Haha, perfect. Love it when things go right. I would recommend that you use the scale. So, gosh, since I've done this video twice, if I've already said this, I want to apologize. But my order is actually for subscription box. So, that was olive oil. I'm going to put some castor oil in there. And yes, this is castor oil just like some people take in the olden days for constipation. I personally love using castor oil in soap because, I guess I can't measure and talk, it actually produces so many bubbles in your soap, but there is a fine line between bubbly soap and slimy soap from too much castor oil. So there is, out on brambleberry.com, a fragrance calculator, a lye calculator, and if you get really advanced, there is a soap calculator that you can find free on the internet that will tell you, when you put in these different oils, what the properties of your soap will be. So how hard will it be? How moisturizing will it be? How bubbly will it be? How much lather will it produce? And that's why this, I don't mind sharing what's in it because it's on the label anyway. I just am not going to particularly share the amounts. So I have 2 more oils to add. Organic coconut oil, and believe it or not, for all you Espanol speaking folks, manteca or lard, pig fat. Some people use tallow, which is beef fat, for their non-vegan soaps. Personally, I much prefer lard over tallow. I just feel like tallow leaves the skin drier and does a little more strippage of your natural skin oil barriers. So personal preference doesn't mean that tallow soap is bad. So I'm going to measure out these last 2 ingredients, and then I'll bring you back and show you what's next. Well, welcome back. Somehow this part was in slow-mo, so I have bad video juju today. So I am determined that we are going to make batch soap. So what I have here is pot A, pot B. Pot A is my oils completely melted. And you do want to get your oils melted enough so that they become see-through or translucent. You can see over here, completely dissolved. So coconut oil, for example, will melt at 76 degrees, where lard takes a much higher temperature. So I think this amount of oil, which is a total of 48 ounces, took me 2 minutes, 40 seconds stirring, in between, to actually liquefy. Here we have our beautiful goat's milk and lye mixture. I failed to mention that I am very blessed to be able to source my goat's milk locally. They are treated like royalty. They are fed non-GMO feed. They're able to graze, etc., etc. It truly makes the finest soap, and I feel is one of the secrets to my particular success. So it's full fat. And I have purchased goat's milk when I've not been able to get it locally, like from Walmart. It's $4 for, let's see, be a quart, which is super high. And it does not make nearly as nice of soap, in my opinion. I've also used powdered goat's milk. Not my favorite. Okay as an additive in some bath and body products, but I love the natural local goat's milk the best. So you would think, both being liquid, we're ready to go. No, we're not. So here's another little device you need. When you are soaping with milk, this is going to be much colder. So let me show you. We're at 76.1 degrees for our goat's milk. Leave me alone. And we're at 110.8 for our oils. So, you could stick this in the refrigerator. You could stick it in the freezer. I've done that when I've been, super pressed for time to bring it down quickly. But you want these two to be within 20 degrees of each other. If you don't, sometimes your soap will clump up funny or it just doesn't come out right. So I adhere to the 20-degree rule. In addition, I've washed up everything so I don't have such a big mess. I'll show you here. I have mixed some oil with what is called mica. Mica is a naturally occurring substance that color is added to, and it can be used in soaping. I use some natural things like clays, or for green you can use spirulina. Here's my issue. Any natural green, and I think I've tried everything that's green and natural that exists, makes beautiful soap, color fades really, really quick. Soap has to cure for 30 days. Many times by the end of 30 days, most of the color was gone. Since this is for a December or Christmas subscription box, it's super important that by December, I don't have beige soap. So I am going to use mica today. The other thing I want to mention to you is, and I don't want to breathe right over this because then I'll start sneezing again. This is actually peppermint and eucalyptus essential oil. And I always use the fragrance calculator or essential oil calculator to make sure that I don't put too much or even too little. So I like a nice smelling soap, but we don't want to cause any harm to the skin. I've learned this the hard way. You do not want to use Dixie cups for oils. The oil will eat right through any type of plastic. So I just bought an Anchor Hawking. Now this I did buy from Walmart. I don't know, it looks kind of like a giant shot glass. I'm not a drinker, so don't know, but at any rate, you want to measure your oil, and then I have made actually one batch of soap, which is not too bad in 30 years. I made some really gorgeous soap, and it actually happened to be Halloween soap. And I was so excited, and it was coming out great. It was kind of complicated in a lot of colors. And I get done, and I'm like, but it doesn't really smell. And I look over, and there's that, my oils. So I ended up naming the soap Incognito because although it was great soap, some people want unscented soap. So that was okay. It was just a disappointment. So a little trick, guys. Take your soap mold, put your essential oil in it. You can't pour your soap until you put that oil in, so you won't forget. All right, so I'm gonna, hopefully this didn't go in slow-mo, and I'm gonna give this just a wee tad longer to come to equal temperatures, and then we're gonna combine the two and make soap, and it's so cool. I can't wait to share it with you, so stay tuned. All right, everyone, well, the magic moment has arrived. I did cheat and drop this in the freezer for a little bit because I'm hoping to get a couple videos out for you today. So this is our oils. This is our goat's milk. They are within 20 degrees of each other. Now, anything that has the lye on it, I'm going to drop in the sink so that I don't inadvertently touch it with my bare arm. Again, healthy respect for chemicals. And I just want to get all of that goat's milk goodness out of here. Now, you have a couple options. You could stand here and stir for like an hour, and I don't have the patience for that. I am going to stir it just a little bit, and you can see it's already kind of changing color. Now, this does have a yellowish cast. It will get lighter as it cures, but any kind of a goat's milk soap is going to have color to it, which I actually think is pretty. So, here's the easy thing to do, and this has also been well loved. Cuisinart immersion blender. Stick it in your soap mixture, tilt it. Hopefully you saw the bubble. So you're burping it. And now I apologize for the noise, but this is where the magic happens. So as you see, this is turning into a beautiful creamy mixture that is going to become soap. So you can see when I lift how it coats. Everybody does theirs a little bit different. I like to soap with it pretty thin. So, fragrance oil going in. That will thin it down a little bit. More blending. A little slopping out the bowl. That's why you do it in this sink. Now, I'm going to pour out some of this and add colorant to it, so I don't want it to get so thick that we can't make a design in our soap. So hang tight. I'm going to stop the video again. I'm going to get set up, and we're gonna actually pour our beautiful soap. All right, so we have our uncolored soap. And I'm gonna start by pouring it into the mold. And you can see it's still fairly liquid. If I was not adding color to this soap, I would have blended longer until it got thicker. But I'm gonna add, this is our mica, the lovely green soap. Just a quick stir. And slop it everywhere. Oh Lord. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, a little up and down. So this is gonna make swirls inside our soap. This is called a hanger tool. It's just a coated piece of wire. You can make unique designs with it throughout your soap. Certainly don't have to buy this special tool, but I will share it works well. And then I want to make a pretty top for this. So what I'm going to do is actually run some stripes of soap. And the soap is still kind of on the thin side for striping, but we'll see if we can't make it happen. So we'll do a couple beige stripes, a couple green stripes. Just a second here. All right. And then we'll do our green stripe in between our beige. So this is fun. Chopstick. And then you just want to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. See, it's making a beautiful little swirly design on the top. And then to be determined what's going to look like on the inside. Every piece of soap, even out of a batch, is unique. Kind of get some of this excess that I dribbled. So there you have it. Once this sets a little bit, I will spray it with 91% rubbing alcohol to prevent a haze from forming on the top. It goes into the curing room where it sits on just a metal baking rack. I still have soap left, so I'm gonna keep on pouring, and I will bring you back at the end to show you what it all looks like. We're all done. We have soap. So this is our beautiful, I don't want to disturb it. Let me tip you. Okay, like there we go. That's our beautiful loaf of soap. Once this is hardened enough, probably in 48 to 72 hours, because it is goat's milk, it's a little bit softer, I will use my bar cutter and cut this into bars, and then it will cure for 30 days. I had extra soap, as I always do, from this batch, and maybe a little too much green, but you know, a guy might want green soap, right? So it's okay. One of the smaller bars here, I try every batch of soap that I make just to quality control it. Even though I've made this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, I'd love to know how many bars of soap I've made in my life, but I don't really know. I do like to try it in case there's, you know, any kind of subparness to the actual batch. One batch out of all the batches of soap I've made, I chose not to sell and to remake because it just wasn't up to standard. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I know it was a little bit long, but I've been wanting to do this. Drop me a comment below. Have you ever tried to make soap? Would you like to make soap? Would you like me to make a simpler batch of soap that would be a little easier without the color? You know, just to learn a little bit more and share a recipe that is not my own. Let me know. So, be well, be healthy, be blessed. Have a great day.